Good morning and welcome to Ask the Expert, an award-winning daily series from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help small businesses. If you've got any questions during this session, please ensure you ask them in the live feed comments and we will get those answered as best we can. If you need any more advice during the official, please join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. There's accountants and business experts such as myself on there 24/7. During this live session, we'll be running a poll, so please do engage with it, and I'll reveal the answer at the end of the session and give some feedback on that. And don't forget, if you're on TikTok, to check out our Be Your Own Boss competition. Pitch a new business idea and you could be winning investment, mentorship, and business advice to help it make a reality. The competition closes on Wednesday, so please make sure you post your TikTok before then and tag hashtag Be Your Own Boss to enter. My name's Johann Goree. I'm the Managing Director of the OnPoint Accounting Group. We're a group of accounting firms and brands that work across the UK with various industries and various sized businesses to help them deliver a faster and smoother accounting process. So for the last few times I've been on recently, I've been talking about managing a team, leading by example. As the COVID restrictions have lightened up a bit more, what I have been doing is going out and seeing my clients, hearing about their stories, learning about what they're doing to protect their business going forwards. And in that last couple of weeks, I've heard some fantastic examples of people using their ingenuity and initiative to be able to protect their business from COVID and to keep trading even when people are testing positive and we're seeing spikes. So I thought it'd be a really good opportunity today just to go through some of the things I've seen our small businesses do over the last couple of weeks to try and share some best practice, give you guys some ideas of how you can help carry on trading. So first of all, I think the biggest lesson I've learned, having seen clients from across multiple council areas, is to check the local council rules, speak to the COVID team member at the council and work out where they sit in the regards to how they're going to deal with your business and what they're going to ask you to do if you are alerted to a positive case. So for example, one council area I visited recently to see one of my clients, they are very relaxed from the point of view of they are looking to support you to continue trading. As long as you've got the right processes and systems in place, they will allow you to continue trading, providing everything's clean and the people that have been in contact with the staff members or customer that may have tested positive on that day is isolated. So I'll give you some examples of that later. But other council areas they have been very much a case of overcautious almost. So the moment there's an alert, you have to shut your business down there and then, go and get everyone tested, deep clean the business, and only if your staff come back as all negative can you reopen. If your staff come back as positive, you need to stay closed and isolate everyone. So I have seen some fantastic ways people are working to be able to be closed for a minimum amount of time. So I just wanted to go through those. The first one is to put your staff into bubbles. If you've got lots of staff, so if you're running a restaurant, for example, or a hospitality venue maybe, and you've got lots of staff, try and put teams into bubbles. So if you've got a restaurant and you've got waiting staff, put them into multiple teams and try and get them and rotate them so they don't interact with each other. So that way, if someone in team 1 gets tested positive for COVID, you only need to isolate team 1. Teams 2 and 3 can continue working and serving customers and pick up the extra shift in team 1. So yeah, team bubbles is a really good way of limiting the exposure of COVID and limiting the damage it can do to your business and the length of time you're going to be shut down for. Another thing I've seen that has been very successful and prevented damaging the business is businesses are asking their employees to do lateral flow tests the night before they come back to work. So if your staff members had a week off or a few days off, even if it's just their 2 days off for the week, they've been asked to do a lateral flow test so that they can confirm that they're safe to go back to work the next day. So we had a case where a chef went away for a week, came back, tested the night before they went back to work, and he tested positive. But because he tested the night before he went back to work and he'd been away for a week, it had no impact on the business. So the business could continue trading minus a chef, but it meant they could continue trading. Whereas if the staff member hadn't been tested the night before, had gone back to work and then tested and found out that they were positive for COVID, the business would have been shut down, staff would have been isolating, it would have been an absolute mess. So it's a really good idea, if you can, to encourage your staff to get the free lateral flow tests from the government website and test themselves before they come back to work after a period of time off. Other businesses I've seen are asking their staff to do free lateral flow tests every 2 days. The reason they're doing this is it means that they can go back those 2 days, work out who they've worked with, work out what guests and customers have been potentially exposed to COVID if anyone tests positive, and it has a minimal impact on the staff team. Whereas if you test once a week and that person that tests positive has worked with lots of people during that week, it's going to have a really big impact on you losing staff that are isolating. So yeah, get the staff tested regularly. And I think the biggest learning point that I've seen overall, other than getting to bubbles, getting your staff to test on the night before they come back to work so that you know they're safe to return, testing them regularly so that you only think 2 days or 3 days back before you know that they were safe. Have an action plan in place. If you've got a plan, and your staff team know what to do, it's instant, it's easy to trigger, and you can crack on with cleaning the premises, checking your staff, and returning to trading straight away. So, whereas if you don't have a plan and someone gets a notification to say they've tested positive for COVID, and then you're sat there thinking, right, what do I need to do? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Who do I need to call? If you've got a step-by-step action plan, it just saves time and it means you can be reopening quicker. So yeah, definitely get a written action plan in place for that time when hopefully it will never happen, but if you do need it, it's there. Now, by no means am I a COVID regulation expert. I just wanted to share some of the stories and some of the things I've seen over the last couple of weeks when I've been out visiting my clients, talking to them about their accounts and their business. Because the beauty of small businesses is there's so much ingenuity and initiative that there's so much we could all learn from each other, and we love sharing what we all learn from each other. So that's why I'm here today. I'm sharing these examples of what other clients have done so you can learn from that. So hopefully that really helps and that gives you something to think about. As I say, I'm not an expert. I don't know what your local rules are. I don't know how your local council's treating these things, but just my key takeaways from the last couple of weeks have been staff team and bubbles, staff testing it themselves with lateral flow tests the night before they go back to work after a few days off, staff testing regularly, and having an action plan so that you can implement things straight away. So yeah, just a bit of some learning points that I had from the last couple of weeks. I thought it'd be beneficial to share with you all. And as I say again, a complete disclaimer, I am not an expert in this. I'm just sharing what I've seen and what I think has been fantastic and very innovative from small businesses. So maybe we should focus on questions that I probably can answer and I will be a bit more of an expert on, hopefully. So let's have a look at what questions I've got coming in. We've got a few already. So our first question is from Duncan on Facebook Messenger. Hi, I'm an I'm a handyman and take cash. I'm considering getting a card reader to take payments. If I do this, is there a way to automatically invoice? Manually inputting invoices for one-off customers is time-consuming. Hi Duncan, so you've got a few options. I'm going to go on the assumption you're using QuickBooks as a tool, which is fantastic. What I would suggest is looking at something like iZettle, or Zettle as I believe it's now called. They have mobile card machines. I think you pay 30 quid for the card machine, and then you take that with you, connects to your phone and your phone's internet. You can enter your sale on the card machine. Customer can pay contactless or put the card in and enter their PIN, whichever they're more comfortable with. And then that information, iZettle or Zettle as it's now called, will automatically transmit into QuickBooks, so you can raise the sale. You can raise it from the banking screen, so you don't have to raise each invoice manually. Unless the customer wants an invoice, then you'll need to raise it that way. The other thing to look at is with QuickBooks, you can send your invoice and you can turn on PayPal Pay Now. So it links to PayPal through QuickBooks. The customer gets the invoice in their email, big Pay Now button, and they can click on the Pay Now bit, and it will take the card details, and it will take the money, and it will transfer the money into your PayPal account, ready to go to your bank account. So you've got two options there. Zettle card reader, because iZettle, or Zettle as it's now called, talks really well to QuickBooks. Or you can keep invoicing people, not collecting money at the time of the transaction, and sending the invoice with the Pay Now button. The issue with that one will be your confidence that the customer's going to pay. Whereas if you've got a card machine and you're taking the payment there and then, you know, walking away that that bill's all settled and it's all sorted. So I hope that helps, Duncan. A couple of options for you there. We've got a message from Elizabeth on Twitter DM. Hi Johann, I'm trying to import invoices from an old software to QBO. I've completed all the sample invoice CSV and the info seems to be where it should be. What's next? Okay, not quite sure what you're asking me there, Elizabeth. So you've opened QuickBooks, you've imported using their CSV import tool, which is great. So that imports all your invoices. If they're invoices that are still live and need to be paid, the customer will then make your payment. You can match it in the bank. If they're invoices that are already paid, then you need to reconcile that. But it might be worth getting in touch with a QuickBooks Pro advisor. So if you go to the QuickBooks website, there's a Find an Accountant option on the top right. That will have a long list of all the accountants in your area that are QuickBooks Pro advisors, and they can go through in detail exactly what you've done, what needs doing, and what the next steps are. So we're listed on there. I think we come up first in Edinburgh. But the beauty of QuickBooks Pro advisors is we can work with anyone across the UK, and we do. But yeah, it's certainly worth having a chat with a QuickBooks Pro advisor just to explain to them in detail, which you won't be able to get across in messages and stuff on here. Just explain to them in detail what you've done, what you're trying to achieve, and they can tell you what your next steps are if you need to. So I hope that helps. It doesn't answer the question, but hopefully it directs you into the right direction for resources. Got a question from Jackie on Instagram DM. I run a shop and I'm a little confused what the rules are regarding mask wearing currently. Are and/or will be on the July 19th. Any advice on how to encourage customers to wear them or to enforce it? So, as I said, Jackie, I'm not an expert on this. I also don't know where you're living and where you're trading. Scotland and England have different rules. Wales have different rules. Northern Ireland has different rules. So what I would suggest is check with the government website for COVID rules and work out what the rules are for you. If you're not sure, give your local council a ring. They'll be able to help and direct you in the right direction for this. What I'm seeing a lot of is anyone that walks into bars, restaurants, shops, if they haven't got their mask on, or if they've got their mask on under their nose or something, the staff are just politely asking. So if they've got their mask on under their nose, the staff are just saying, "Hi, sorry, would you mind just lifting your mask up over your nose?" or if they've not got a mask on at all, the staff are just very politely going, "Hi, can I just check you're exempt from wearing a mask? Not an issue if you are, I just want to check." Most people go, "Oh no, sorry, I forget," and they put the mask on. So yeah, hope that helps. Bit of case study there of what I've seen working. But you just need to check the government website for your local area. You need to speak to the local council if you're still not sure, and go from there. Because as I say, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland have all got slightly different rules about social distancing, masks, etc. So just have a look and make sure you've got it right before, rather than me guessing where you are and what you're doing. So I hope that helps. Carl from Twitter DM says, "I like the idea of small staff bubbles, but how do you maintain this if you only have if you have staff of less than 10? So I suppose it depends, Carl, how many staff you need to run your business on a daily basis. If you only needed 3 staff a day, but you've got a team of 10, I'd break your team into 3 bubbles and have 1 bubble working each day. Or you could have, so you need 5 staff members working, you could have 2 bubbles of 5. If you need 3 staff members working, but they work a long day, you've got a long day to cover, you can have a team that work on a morning into the afternoon, and then a team that take over. The team that's working in the morning cleans everything down and sanitizes. Ready for the next team to walk in and start work. And there shouldn't be any, they're wearing masks, etc. So there shouldn't be prolonged interaction with them. So I hope that helps with the bubbles idea. It is a fantastic idea. It does help protect and reduce the impact of having to lose all your staffing in one go due to isolation. So hopefully that will keep you going. And hopefully that explains it a bit better for you, Carl, as well. Okay, our next question is from Holly on Messenger from Facebook. "I own an organic food supplement business and we want to grow our sales with digital marketing. I don't want to spend too much, but unsure which is the most cost effective, hiring an agency or someone in-house. Do you have any advice?" This is a really tricky one, Holly, because it depends where you want to advertise. Excuse me. It depends on quite a lot of things. In theory, you would probably be, depending on the scale of what you're doing, you need to work out, is the agency actually understanding your market? There's a lot of advertising agencies out there that say they can do everything for you, but have never worked in your industry or no experience in your industry. So you need to make sure you can find someone that specializes in your industry. And then you need to look at their fees and work out what could you get for the same amount of money. So for example, could you get someone to sit in market and do your advertising and stuff on your Facebook posts, etc., for the same amount or less than you're paying the agency? Because if it's cheaper to get someone in, that's great, but you may need to have to teach them how to do it. Whereas the agency, if they specialize in your industry, they'll know what they're doing. They're going to have that depth of knowledge that a new employee perhaps won't have, depending on their background. So I hope that helps. Obviously, you're going to have your spending budget for your adverts on Google Ads, Facebook, and so forth. What I've seen a lot of people doing is Google Ads been seen as very expensive. Facebook ads are a lot cheaper, but the quality of the leads can be a bit less reliable. I've seen quite a few clients actually moving to YouTube adverts, which are little video adverts, because you don't pay for the view, you pay for the click. So that might be a better option for you. It depends on how you can visualize your product to make it work on a video. But hopefully that gives you some ideas, Holly. And it's just weighing up your costs really, and what you're going to get, and the value you put on the expertise at the agency versus the value of someone starting in-house. So yeah. Our next question is from Chantel on Twitter DM. When it comes to testing, should we as a business bulk order the tests, or is that the individuals that should order their own as and when? So I've seen both cases where a business is prepared to pay for tests and they do bulk order, and they send home staff with enough tests to do a month's worth of testing or something. But I've also seen businesses that have said to their employees, as part of our risk assessment, as part of our health and safety, we require you to do a test. This is the link you go to get them ordered from the government website. They're free of charge. And you just need to record the tests. And some people have got like WhatsApp groups. Some people have said, can you just take a picture and send us the positive or negative after your test? So it's entirely up to you which one you do. I would suggest, if staff are willing, just to order them online from the government website. So knowing I was going out and visiting clients, I wanted to be following best practice. So I ordered tests. They send you 7 lateral flow tests, I think it is, at a time. So you just go on the website, you order it. It turned up the next day via Royal Mail. It's very quick and very easy. So it's not strenuous or complicated to do it for your staff. So yeah, either way, whichever one you feel your staff will respond better to. So I hope that helps, Chantal. Kelly on Facebook Messenger, are there any situations where you get notified, do the cleaning and testing, but the government still doesn't let your business reopen? What should be an action plan for COVID notifications? So Kelly, this is down to your council area and their approach, and how they interpret the risk of the COVID spreading, etc. So I have seen where teams aren't spread out. Everyone's potentially at risk, that they've had to isolate everyone. Even if they've had negative tests, they still get isolated until they've had that period of isolation. The business can reopen when the staff come back. But in an action plan, it should just be a step-by-step. So whoever's in the business that day can just pick up like this crib sheet and go, right, we've had a positive alert. What do I need to do? Right, job 1, call the council. Pass on the following information. Job 2, put it on social media that you're closing the shop to clean. Job 3, use the following cleaning chemicals and methods to clean your premises and surfaces, etc. Job 4 might be to go and get your staff all tested. I'm not saying that is the routine way, but these are the things you ought to be considering. So yeah, but if you speak to your local council, they'll be more than happy to give you an idea of what action plan to put together and how to do it. They're really, really helping to share the resources and share their expertise. So just get in touch with your local council and they'll be able to help, I'm sure. Ismail on Instagram DM, I accidentally marked something as paid when it wasn't on QuickBooks. Is there a way to restore the deleted invoices? Okay, Ismail, if you've marked it as paid, you've not deleted the invoice, you've just marked it as paid. So when you go into the invoice on your sales screen, on the top right, you'll have the figure of what's owed. And under that, there'll be in blue writing, 1 payment received and the amount and the date. Click on that and you can void the payment, which will then make the invoice ready to be paid again. But I don't think it won't have deleted the invoice, that's for sure, unless you've deleted the invoice. And if you have, I don't think there's a way of recovering that. So you'll have to add it back in again manually. Hope that helps, Ismail. Khan on Facebook Messenger. Hi, Johann. Post-Brexit advice. Well, I'll try my best. I'm a consultant and I might have a new client based in Germany. Is there anything I need to be aware of regarding payments, as they'll be made from a German account, or is everything as easy as just issuing a normal invoice? It depends if you're VAT registered. If you're VAT registered, etc., then you probably need to go and speak to a local accountant and go through the entire, what you're buying, what you're selling to them, how you're doing it, how you're delivering the service, where they are, where you are, etc., and work out if there's any implications to that. So yeah, definitely worth going and having a chat with an accountant who deals with. I've not dealt with much Brexit stuff in the last 6 months, thankfully, but definitely worth going and chatting to an accountant that has, just to clarify your VAT and stuff like that. So I hope that helps. Ibrahim on Twitter DM. Hi Johan, I've set up MTD and got confirmation from HMRC, but QuickBooks says it's not connected and the return says it's blocked. What can I do to fix this? Ibrahim, if you tried filing that and connecting it all this weekend, that's because HMRC's MTD portal was down for maintenance this weekend. If you've been trying for a few weeks now and you're struggling, then get in touch with the QuickBooks support team. You'll be able to find that on the top right of the screen when you're logged into QuickBooks, and they'll do their best to help you look at it. It might be though that you need to speak to HMRC and just check nothing's gone wrong there end as well. So I hope that helps. We've got a question from Roy on Facebook Messenger. Morning, Johan. We're a small manufacturing company and we're looking to onboard an ERP solution. Before we start the process, I want to make sure it's all square with our accounts. What should we consider from here? Okay, so whenever you bring in any technical solution, the first thing I always say is, does it connect to QuickBooks? I'm assuming you're using QuickBooks, hence why you're asking a question on this platform. So always check whatever solution you're going to be integrating into your business will talk to QuickBooks first. So you can either find that out by going to QuickBooks App Store or by going to the solution provider themselves and asking them if they talk to QuickBooks. So that would be my first stop, is just make sure it connects to QuickBooks. If it connects to QuickBooks and they're registered as connecting to QuickBooks, then you know it's going to work pretty seamlessly. QuickBooks they have very high standards of the apps that connect to them and how they will and won't work. So you know they'll work well if they do connect. So I hope that helps. Okay, we are running out of time, so I'm going to take one last question from Vicky on Instagram DM. I'm using Payroll Advanced and I want to change my payroll dates. Currently they're set for the 28th, but want to move to the end of the month. What should I do? Right. I'm trying to think this through in my mind. If you go in advanced payroll, if you go to payroll settings, you will have your payroll schedule, and you should be able to edit in there. If you can't find that, get in touch with the QuickBooks support team. They'll be able to talk you through it. Or drop me a message on Twitter or LinkedIn, and I will get one of my payroll team to give you a call and talk you through it. And that'll be fine. But go to QuickBooks support team first if you can't find it. And they'll be able to talk you through it, I'm sure, Vicky. So that's all the time we've got for questions today. The poll results are in, and we asked, are you confident about business recovery in the next 6 months? And 100% of you said, no, you're not confident about the business recovery in the next 6 months. I think if we asked this question 3 weeks ago, that would be a very different split. I am getting exactly the same feedback from our clients. They are nervous. Everyone's nervous because we're seeing the spike in numbers, and they're worried about governments locking down and restricting trade and stuff again. And I completely understand that. To help with that, what I suggest is you have keep as much cash liquid as possible. By that, I mean, don't go buying new equipment and stuff just yet. Keep any money in the bank accounts liquid as long as possible, and see how you get on from there. Just keep following the rules. Keep being innovative. Small businesses are moving so quickly, it's fantastic. Don't forget what you did for the last 18 months of trade. That will continue supporting you as you go. So yeah, I can understand why you're not confident about your recovery in the next 6 months with the current numbers, but you've already done 18 months or so, 16, 15 months, I can't remember now. You've found ways to work and survive. Keep your cash liquid and keep innovating, and you'll all be fine, I'm sure. So thank you for tuning in. If you want to connect with me, you can send me a message on LinkedIn or on Twitter. Just search Johann Goree on LinkedIn or Goree Johann on Twitter. Coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow is the law tech entrepreneur and professional negotiator and founder of LawBite, Clive Rich. Having crafted agreements for the likes of Apple, Microsoft, Tesco, Fox, Pepsi, and the BBC, along with many more, Clive will be sharing his secrets into the better negotiation. And as a reminder, if you need any more advice, join the official Intro QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Accountants and business experts such as myself are there 24/7. And don't forget, if you are going to take part in the Be Your Own Boss competition on TikTok to pitch a new idea in which you could win investment, mentorship, and business advice, then the competition closes on Wednesday. So make sure you post your TikTok before then and tag #BeYourOwnBoss to enter. Really enjoyed answering your questions today. I hope my examples of what I've seen other businesses doing recently are going to be helpful for you. And have a great day. Thank you very much.